Here we are back again with yet another patch note that has gone under the radar. I'm not surprised, to be honest. Nobody really likes the Leviathan's Breath and I can't blame you, but Bungie are trying their hardest to give you more options as far as heavy hitting power weapons go. The Catalyst now grants the Archer's Tempo perk in addition to its other effects. And you'd be right, it does, but let's take a quick look at what this actually means, why you might be missing the point of this heavy hitting exotic, and how to make it hit even harder in just a few small steps. So first, you'll need the weapon, which if you haven't got by now, you can pick it up from the Monument of Lost Lights kiosk in the tower for a minimal cost of materials. Next, you'll need the Catalyst, which has a chance to drop by killing any powerful enemy with the bow itself. You'll then need over 1000 kills with the bow to complete the Catalyst, or you can just use the Wrathborn hunts to get bonus Leviathan's Breath Catalyst progression on completion. This is by far the quickest way, so if you have access to the Season of the Hunt activities, you should do this as you'll get about 12% progress each time, otherwise it's off to the Shuro Chi checkpoint in the Last Wish raid. Once the Catalyst is fully unlocked, you'll get the Colossal Quiver perk boosting the magazine up to 15 and now the newly added Archer's Tempo. Leviathan's Breath is one heavy, slow, yet hard hitting bow with an incredibly long draw time of about 2.5 seconds between shots. Now, thanks to Archer's Tempo, you can decrease that draw time by about 30%, bringing it to just under 2 seconds between each shot. This in turn drastically increases the overall DPS of the exotic. Now normally it'll take you about 30 seconds to use all 15 arrows, with an horrific DPS of just over 30,000. With Archer's Tempo, you're looking at about 20 seconds to empty the magazine and you're pushing it up to nearer 40,000, which is still bad, but in essence you shouldn't be using this heavy bow for DPS, because there's a bigger, often overlooked usage for this exotic which does massively increase its damage output. Overall, it hits for about 58,000 impact plus 3,000 explosive damage, with the explosive damage coming from the Leviathan Psi perk. When fully drawn, the bolt creates a concussive blast that knocks combatants back. This gives you that bonus explosive damage, but it also deals massive area of effect damage to anything stood nearby. In some scenarios, I'm hitting multiple targets for 2, 3, 5 and upwards of 8,000 with this explosive damage. This massively increases its overall damage output, adding over 30 to 40,000 worth of damage in just one bolt. Taking this into account, the total damage per bolt now goes to over 100,000, with a total damage output of anywhere between 900,000 and 1.5 million for a full 15 shots, and it dramatically increases the DPS of Leviathan's Breath to nearer 60,000, putting it in the region of other power weapons and popular DPS contenders. Yes, granted this isn't increasing your single target damage output, but neither are Wolfpack rounds when they skittle off to other nearby targets instead of the boss you're aiming at. It's horses for courses, and this very big horses course is for unstoppable champions thanks to the intrinsic big game hunter perk, and for boss fights where there might just be a ton of ads nearby, much like the Days of Eternity activity offers right now. It'll also stagger these big boss targets too, putting a stop to their aggro and attacks, leaving you time to perfectly aim the Archer's Tempo shot repeatedly, essentially stun locking them in the process. Unfortunately, with the Catalyst in place you can't boost its magazine size further with the Bow Reserves mod, but it's definitely worthwhile using the Bow Ammo Finder and Scavenger mods if you're serious about using it, as are both the Bow Reloader and Dexterity mods too. With any setup these days, especially if you're serious about maxing out your damage, you need to be combining the best 2 damage mods in the game with High Energy Fire and the Font of Might. With a 20% and 25% bump respectively, you're upping the damage per bolt to over 91,000. You'll need to create Void Elemental Wells for this and also be on a Void subclass too. Elemental Armaments and my favourite Reaping Wellmaker have you covered there. Armaments will trigger on Void Weapon Final Blows, which include Leviathan's Breath, but also any energy weapon of your choosing, like the ever faithful Null Composure. Reaping Wellmaker will always create a Void Elemental Well on Weapon Final Blows after using your class ability, and the Elemental Charge will make you charge with light by collecting it as well. It only gives you a short 10-second window to pull this off, but when the stars align and you combine it with the Hunter's Tether for a bonus 30% debuff, taking you all the way up to 113,000 on just the base impact alone, making it more than a worthy contender for high short burst damage output, not to mention the huge area of effect damage you're dishing out at the same time. The Oathkeeper exotic gauntlets for hunters will allow you to get that perfectly fully drawn bow shot each and every time too, and thanks to this season's artifact you can even use a primary bow to cover off on overload champions as well. It truly is a unique exotic, and I'm even sure it might see another damage or draw speed buff in the future. You'll be getting dodgy looks from teammates and maybe even a confused neigh from the Star Horse when using it, but just point them my way. Let me point you this way though, towards the subscribe button and also towards another unnoticed patch note with the new Stasis Dragonfly effect.